Okay with you, I'm going to call the meeting to order.
It's 3:11.
3:11, all right. My watch is off, I apologize. 3:11, great, we're not that late. I'm going to have my assistant turn the camera on and then we're going to start, all right? All right.
All right.
I'm going to call the roll. Steve Hanna,
Here.
Donald Wynn,
Yes.
Chad Chilcutt.
Here.
The notice of the June 14th, 2016 meeting of the Athletic Commission was posted to the Athletic Commission's website on June 6, 2016. I need a motion to adopt the agenda with one modification proposed to the agenda, which is to read the statement of necessity after we hold an election of officers. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
And the name of the person who made the second was?
Chad Chilcutt.
Thank you. I'm going to call for the roll, and we're going to have to do roll call votes on each of these because we're doing the meeting by electronic means. I know that takes just a little bit longer, but this way, when we have the record, we have who voted for what. Steve Hanna.
Here.
Just say aye or nay, if you would.
Oh, this is for the vote itself.
Vote, yes.
Sorry. Aye.
Aye. Donald Wynn,
Aye.
Chad Chilcutt.
Aye.
Motion carries. And now, if we could, we'll have the election of officers, at which point then I will turn the meeting over to our new chair of the Athletic Commission. Is there a motion for chair of the Athletic Commission?
I'll make that motion.
Or
For Steve Hanna, I've held that seat before in the previous, I don't know, it's probably 3 years ago, so I'd be glad to volunteer. That's
okay. Is there a second? Is there any other volunteers or motions for chair of the commission? Hearing none, I'll call it for a vote.
Sure. Chad Chilcutt.
You want to, I'm sorry, could you make that a little more clear?
Yes. Me.
For chair?
Chad Chilcutt.
Okay. All right. Is there a second for that? Okay. Motion fails. Not really certain.
you're asking for a vote on, are you asking for any other volunteers? Are we moving to vote on? chair.
Moving to vote on the chair positions.
I think there, at least for me, there was maybe a little confusion, so maybe we want to just restate.
State the
Yeah,
votes.
So are we voting on Steve Hanna or Chad Chilcutt right now? Or
I think we need a second before we can vote on either of them.
Right. We needed a second for either one of them. I didn't get one for either.
I have a second for Steve Hanna.
All right.
This is Donald Wynn.
All right. All right. Calling for the vote on Steve Hanna. I'm going to do a roll call vote. Steve Hanna,
aye.
Donald Wynn,
Aye.
Chad Chilcutt.
Aye.
All right. That motion passed. And we're now, if we could hold a vote for vice chair, I'm going to turn the chair over to Steve Hanna to carry the votes from here.
Do we have printouts of today's agenda?
We do.
Thank you.
On the agenda, it's on the iPad too.
So this is what all officer positions are we electing today?
Chair and vice chair.
Okay. So now what we would like to move to is the nomination of a vice chair for the Tennessee Athletic Commission. Are there any volunteers?
Sure. Chad Chilcutt.
All right. Is there a second to motion to move to vote for Chad?
I
I'm sorry,
second that motion, Donald Wynn.
all right. We have a second. We'll take a roll call vote for vice chair for Mr. Chilcutt. Steve Hanna, aye. Donald Wynn,
Aye.
Mr. Chilcutt.
Yes, sir. Aye.
All right. The motion passes.
We need to do the statement of necessity. So we had to do that one out of order.
Where's that?
I'll read the statement of necessity. After I've finished reading that, we can have a motion to adopt and a second, and then we'll roll call vote to adopt it. The Tennessee Athletic Commission will hold a meeting via telephone on Tuesday, June 14th, 2016, beginning at 3:00 p.m. Central Time. Due to the impossibility of having a quorum of members physically present, the immediate need for the Commission to appoint a chairman and vote on new applications, the Commission believes a necessity exists that requires this meeting be held by teleconference. The matters to be considered by the Commission at this meeting require timely action by the Commission. Further, physical presence by a quorum of the Commission members is not practical within the period of time requiring action, and participation by a quorum of the Commission members by electronic or other means of communication is necessary.
So we need to move for a motion to approve the notice of meeting and the statement of necessity.
Yes.
All right. Do we have a second?
Someone needs to make the motion first.
That's what I just asked
Okay,
for someone.
I can't make the motion.
Okay.
You can make the motion.
All right. I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
I second that motion, Donald Wynn.
The chair can't make the motion. So Mr. Wynn or Mr. Chilcutt, if one of you can make the motion to adopt.
I make the motion to adopt.
That was Mr. Wynn.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
I'll second it. Chad Chilcutt.
Motion moved. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, next on the agenda is to adopt the Roberts Rules of Order. Is that correct?
That is correct. And
Okay.
if you look in that handbook I gave you on how to chair a meeting, on the back page, there is an abbreviated version of Robert's Rules of Order, just to kind of give you an abridged version of how to do that. It's the green page. Letter size, it doesn't print that well, but it's just that helpful.
Okay. So we've each been given in prior notice a copy of the Roberts Rules of the Order. I assume everyone's had a chance to look at those. So it's at this point, we would entertain taking a motion to approve these Roberts Rules of Order. Is there a motion on the floor?
I motion it, Donald Wynn.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second motion at Chad Chilcutt.
Motion moved. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, this brings us to the point to where the director's report. So I will turn this back over to Nicole.
All right. I just have a very brief report for you today, which will probably be the majority of the rest of our meeting. If you turn in your documents, the first thing I'm going to discuss today is going to be the Athletic Commission's budget report. Every time we meet, I'm going to present a summary of kind of where we are in the budget. And it's just going to be an abbreviated version. We are not at budget close, so this is just an estimation of where we are. Our budget plan for the year is $89,400. Thus far, we have a total expenditures of $70,626, so we're under our expenditures. We have a revenue of $104,367.63, so we are already well above where we expected to be. We've already had 13 fights, which was a greater number than we expected to have for this year. So we're doing really well. We have estimated cost backs of $12,261 and a cost of for investigations of $1,022. The next part of the director's report is some information on some legislation that went through this year. It's not specifically for the Athletic Commission, but it's stuff that passed this year that might affect the Athletic Commission, so I wanted you to be aware of it. The first one is Senate Bill 2469, House Bill 2201, which when it passed, it became Public Chapter 1053, and it's commonly known as the Right to Earn a Living Act. This bill required that all agencies review entry laws and regulations each year and repeal or amend those that are determined not to be demonstrably necessary and carefully tailored to fulfill legitimate public health, safety, or welfare objectives, or in the case of laws, recommend to the General Assembly that the law be repealed or amended. Additionally, a person may petition an agency to review an entry regulation, which must be reviewed within 90 days in order for the agency to repeal or modify the regulation or state the basis that the regulation meets the standard. The agency's decision on that petition can be challenged in court. This became effective May 5th, 2016. So we will be looking through our laws and rules to make sure that we're in compliance with that. The next thing I want the board to take some serious consideration, and I did send this to you in advance so that you'd be aware of it, is that legislative session is of course complete. But if you have any legislative proposals for next year's consideration, we do need to have you thinking about those now and submit them, of course, to me. Research into the policy priorities set by the governor and developed strategies to address significant issues that legislators and or interest groups are likely to bring forward next year. The governor makes decisions about what is or is not included in the administration's agenda based on a full picture of everything that will have to be balanced on next session. The department evaluates agency's proposal based in part on the following criteria. Does the proposal align with the governor's vision for the state? Does it help advance his priorities or make improvements in those areas? Is it good public policy? How does the proposal affect or interact with the suggested bills from the agency? Does it cost the taxpayer money, or is there a fiscal impact? Does the change in the law, is a change in law necessary to achieve the desired outcome? Understanding that the administration will continue to put forward a legislative agenda that contains a limited number of bills, we expect that anything proposed will reflect the highest priorities of the commissioner and the governor. When thinking about 2017 legislative proposals, please keep in mind the legislative proposals should generally reflect one of the governor's priorities of education, jobs, efficient and effective government. Also, whether or not the intended outcome of the proposal could be accomplished by rule. So I'm just going to, at this point, let you guys discuss, and if there's anything that you can think of that would be necessary for a legislative proposal, now is the time to talk about it.
Gentlemen, are there any notes or input from your end that needs to be discussed at this point?
No, this is Donald.
No, this is Chad Chilcutt.
Okay.
Okay.
Then let's proceed.
No is an acceptable answer. So I just wanted to make sure I afforded you the opportunity to discuss it. The next part of the director's report is new application forms for the website. The website has applications on it that are out of date and need of the commission's consideration for replacement with newer forms. We discussed these previously last time we met briefly, and I'm presenting them all here today for your consideration. This is really for all types of licenses the Athletic Commission offers. Many of the applications were missing relevant information that is required for licensure, such as citizenship verification or qualifying alien eligibility. We also will have these forms available online within the next coming weeks. With your approval, I would like to replace the existing forms with updated forms for 2016. And I do need a vote on this. On Mr. Hanna, on your iPads, if you just touch very softly on the iPad and hit library, all of the forms are in a separate attachment on your documents. And of course, I emailed the documents to all of the commission members. There were, I believe, 13 attachments. I sent them all to you previously to look over. They're very similar applications in format, with just minor changes based on which type of application you are applying for. I believe this is going to make it a lot easier for our licensees. The instructions are very clear at the top. Each application they're all self-inclusive rather than having to get separate documents. The medical forms are included. You don't have to go to like 5 different places on the website to find what you need to become a kickboxer or a mixed martial artist or whatever you want to become is self-inclusive in that application. So although they may look longer, you already had to do everything that was there. It's just now it's one application instead of 5 separate documents. So
I'd like to go on record and saying thank you on the behalf of the commission, because that was a much needed streamlining effort. So I appreciate your efforts, and I've had a chance to go through it, and I didn't see anything out of line, or it's just a much better improved process. So I thank you for that.
and when they go on the website, each of these, they're not on their iPads and they're not in the version that you saw when I emailed them to you. But when they go up on the website, all of these will be fillable.
Fillable, right.
So they'll be able to type on the actual application.
Commissioner Chilcutt or Commissioner Wynn, do you gentlemen have any questions or any thoughts or input around these the applications that are being referenced?
I actually went over them, printed them off. They look good to me. So,
Is there anything that you would like changed, or you think that there's something that goes a bridge too far, or whatever? Any comments you have that anything that you don't like or if you think that something that's outside the scope of a licensee should be asked, now is the time to let me know. I mean, I'm certainly not one of your licensees, so I tried to incorporate everything that was required by laws and rules, but I am not a boxer and I'm not a mixed martial artist, so I try to incorporate everything, but I am not one of you. So
It's, it's been my experience that regardless of how much time or effort, there's always going to be some input, and not all of it's positive. But from my perspective, everything appears to be in order. I think I heard Mr. Chilcutt say that he agreed. Let me just ask you this though: if we do come to a point to where there's something significant that's missing or that needs to be added, how hard is this to change moving forward? Is this something that we have flexibility on throughout the year, or is this something that once a year is able to be amended?
it's not impossible to change forms. It's not something that is, it's not. We don't want to change it all the time, we can adapt it a little bit here and there.
Okay.
Any other comments or input? All right, and I think I understood that this needs to be voted on.
Yes, I would suggest just voting on them as a whole instead of individually, unless you really feel like you need to do it individually.
So is there a motion to vote on the forms that have been presented as in its entirety?
I motion that.
It needs to be a motion to adopt, not to vote.
A motion to adopt the motion that's being made on the floor by Mr. Nguyen is a motion to adopt the forms and the applications in their entirety. Is there a second?
I second it. Chad Chilcutt.
Motion moved. Chilcutt seconded.
Is there any opposition? No. Then I guess call for the vote just in case.
So just a roll call vote. Steve Hanna, aye. Donald Nguyen,
Aye.
Chad Chilcutt.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. The next thing on the agenda is a letter to the promoters. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. There's one more thing on the website. Website will also be updated, and this is a new thing for the website, with the list of events as they are approved and the results of the events shortly after they've been held. This is not something that has been posted on our website previously. The list below on the director's report shows the events that have occurred as of this week. As you can see, there have been 13 events held since January of 2016. We are working on this currently of posting all of the results of the events. We think this will be a positive way of not only ensuring that the licensees get a little extra information out there to show what they have, but it'll also provide a verification source outside of the two sources that currently, where they can just point to, here's the state's actual information. You can just get it directly from the state at any point. This was the results of this match. They don't have to pay for the other sites in order to get their own results. We figured this is something they should, as part of what they paid for their license, have
Value
available
add.
to them.
I like it.
So, as the events are approved and as the results are received, we are posting them to the website. And the investigator, the director of the investigations unit here, is really deserves some major applause on that one, because he is really the main reason that James Olgain is here with us. He's really the reason that all came together.
Thank you, James. Great job.
Sorry you two can't see him, but he is here in the room with us. James has been very patiently sitting next to me, and he is the reason you guys all have a results page now. And that streamlined right into the next thing, is that we are requesting that the commission allow us to send a letter to our promoters. We have been pushing the promoters, or gently pushing the promoters into an effort to ensure that the administrative staff has sufficient time to process event permits and all of the applications for the combatants for the proposed events. Our legal counsels, in collaboration with our administrative team, have developed a letter that we would like to send to each of our approved promoters, which would outline the expectations moving forward, timely submission of applications and relevant documents, and payments associated with those documents. This is a break from our past practice of taking applications during weigh-in or ringside, which will no longer be acceptable. We are in preparation to take applications online. This is an opportunity that has never before been available to the licensees. They will be able to apply online using their mobile devices and paying with a credit card. Documents can be scanned in or uploaded. We can even accept good images taken with an iPhone or similar device. This will increase the speed we can accept information from the licensees, improve communication with combatants, managers, matchmakers, and promoters. This will also translate to better information for our investigators on site in verifying who is ready to fight at each match. Please review the attached letter and vote if we can send this letter out. And that letter is page 14 of the documents on the iPad. I'll just read it into the record so you guys can hear it. It says, beginning January 1st, 2016, the Tennessee Athletic Commission was recognized under the Tennessee Department of Commerce and Insurance Regulatory Boards Division in an effort to increase the efficiency and accuracy of licensing and permit approvals. Beginning July 1st, 2016, the Commission will expect applicants to closely adhere with the following rules. Tennessee Rules and Regulations, 0145-01.04, Sub Rule 1, a promoter of a contest of unarmed combatants shall obtain a permit from the Commission not less than 30 days prior to the date of the contest. And Part 3, the contest sheet shall be deemed final 7 business days prior to the contest. Through compliance with these rules, amongst others, the Commission will be better able to process your paperwork and address your individual needs and concerns to ensure that your event is a success. Non-compliance with these statutes and rules may result in applications not being approved in time for your event, or in some circumstances, may result in your event permit not being denied. If you have any questions or concerns in this or other matters, in this matter or other Tennessee Athletic Commission rules and regulations, please contact our office at 615-741-1741. Regards, the Tennessee Athletic Commission. If you would, please vote to approve this letter.
The only question I have, because I can completely appreciate all this is the intent, which is just to streamline the accuracy, but there are several instances where I've seen legitimate injuries result in last minute changes. What flexibility, if any, will we have as a commission, or would the promoter have of the fight to accommodate that unlikely scenario?
Well, I definitely heard that from the promoters, and I've tried to address that in the event permit applications. I built into the new event permit application an allowance for alternates, which is not something that was in the current application, where the promoter could have licensed individuals as alternates, which does not change the number of bouts. Also, we have a lot of grace for accidents and injuries for the fighters. If there is an emergency, we can be very, very understanding in that last 7 days. So if there's a situation that comes up, we can definitely compromise on the timeline if it's a legitimate issue.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments relative to the letter?
Chad Chilcutt here. The deadline for the applications for each individual event permit on the fights or the fighter, because is there any leeway for a lot of these events? It's a lot of last minute, and we have to make it work. And me being in this industry for a long time, I see a lot of it. Can you elaborate on that for me a little bit?
I'm sorry, I didn't follow that question. You mean like the documents associated with the application?
That's correct. When they fill it out and they wait, a lot of times they wait. You can stay on top of them, and they wait to the last minute, and fighters are all to the last minute. So if they don't get it in by, I think is it 2 weeks before the event or a month before? I think it's a month before is the deadline.
No, that's not correct. The event permit has to be in 30 days before, and
A month
that
before.
stuff has to be in. The combatants only have to be in 7 days before. So
Okay.
their timeline and your timeline as a promoter per se would be two different timelines. You have to list who you want to fight, but all of the licensing requirements for the combatants, even the timekeepers, the judges, the participants, all of those, the subparts of the event permit, all of that doesn't necessarily have to get approved until you get to the last 7 days, which does leave us at a scramble, but you don't have to get everything approved until that last 7 days. You have to get the event permits submitted to our office 30 days out so the investigators know that they need to be somewhere in the state 30 days from now. But everything has to be to my office 7 days before the event. And I think that's a really reasonable amount of time, considering it has to go through mail rooms and cashier's office. And then, of course, my office actually has to process it. And that can be a lot of people. We can be talking about 20 to 30 people sometimes.
I know that the thing is, I've dealt with a lot of fighters, and I know from experience how it rolls out. And it's a lot of things change at the last minute. People get hurt, you got to replace them, and they wait till the last minute. And as an ex-promoter, and in dealing with this, it's you, and to try to carry out the event. So
I know that's exactly what we're trying to stave
7
off
days.
from it being 2 days before the event, and we're trying.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't even 7 days it's still almost all the way up to 2 days before a day. But
Right.
7 days is it, right?
7 days before, because otherwise we're left in a situation where the investigators are down to making a decision of whether or not someone is allowed to fight, and that's really not a position where we can be in. It's not fair to have somebody at ringside and telling them that they can't fight because their blood work isn't in, or their physical isn't in, or their payment wasn't processed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they should know whether or not they have a license. That's not fair. It's not fair to have somebody get to ringside and find out that they don't have a license. And we're going to try to do this as fast for them. We're doing all these new processes. We're even, now we're going to let them pay with a credit card and apply online and do all these new things to do it faster for them. I think you're going to find that this is going to be an amazing new process where you can show up to the matchmaker. You can apply with a credit card on your iPad, upload your documents. You can upload your documents from the doctor's office.
This is Matthew Reddish, the board attorney. I just want to note that we've kind of been pushing our promoters towards this already. And maybe James can comment on this, but they've been able to adopt or adapt to our requests that they start getting these documents in ahead of time. At first, I mean, there's some pushback, but I think what we've again, James can probably comment on this better than I can, but we've seen that people are very much able to comply with this. And as Nicole said, requiring the event permit 30 days out, we only ask for like the bare minimum requirements, and we're letting people change up their fights, change up their fighters, and all that up to no within 7 days. And that's kind of how we've been approaching it already. So, James, if you want to maybe chime in on the success you've had trying to push these further out deadlines already.
Certainly. My name is James Oldine. I'm the director of the Field Enforcement Unit, the investigators that attend all the events to carry out the laws and rules. When we became involved in this in early January, we saw that we weren't accomplishing the main task, which is safety of the fighters. We weren't given the time to be able to vet a fighter or combatant. We weren't able to ensure that they met all the rules and regulations to participate in an event. So we determined that early on that we would need at least the 7 days, which is part of the laws and rules, to be able to properly vet a fighter for safety reasons, to make sure that they met the criteria for licensure. We have worked with several of the promoters already during the 13 events, and with minimal pushback. We did have some pushback because it was not the standard that was being allowed before. But once the promoters understood what we were trying to achieve, they became very, very helpful in the process. And we've developed great communications with the promoters in making sure we streamline, we move quickly if there's changes that need to be made. So I think we've had a mini success thus far with it. And I think overall that the promoters have accepted it and understand why we really would like that rule, the 7-day rule, to carry forward.
This is Matt Reddish again, and kind of I just want to reiterate what Nicole said, that we do have things in place in case there's a genuine emergency. We can work with these promoters. We do have that flexibility within the rules. But really what this letter is stating is that we have laws already established and that we intend to start enforcing those laws. So every time that we were letting somebody get licensed at ringside, we weren't enforcing our rules and our laws at that time. And so that's something that we've all discussed and think it'd be best for us. These laws were discussed in the General Assembly and they were passed for a reason. And as James and Nicole said, it really is a safety issue. So that's kind of my input on it. Commissioner Chilcutt.
We're doing things for them that was never done before. Like I'm now issuing digital federal ID cards so that people can take on their cell phone. They can take their federal ID to another state, because I'm sure many of you have experienced the slow response time on getting a federal ID card. And I can now you can submit your request for a federal ID card and I can email you your federal ID card. You can just show at ringside because I can send you a PDF version of your federal ID card as long as you send the pictures. So, we're using technology to your advantage to get things to you faster than ever before. I think you're going to see a lot of these changes, although that we're asking you to, uphold one rule for timelines. I think you're going to see that overall those timelines are actually going to get shorter on everything else. It's just we need things in advance in order to give you the product with clear and quality.
Excuse me. I appreciate the input by all, and I'm just listening as the input from Mr. Chilcutt is genuine, and given the fact that he's sat in that seat, and I do empathize. It's would seem like kind of hurting kittens a lot of times when you're dealing with these fighters, but I also understand what the intent of this commission is all about, and that's the safety and of the fighters and being able to offer a legitimate product and the efficiency of what we're trying to do here. So unless there's any other feedback, what I would make a move is to vote on the letter and see how this works out for the next 12 months. Based on the feedback we're getting from James, it seems like it's working pretty good. So are there any other questions or comments about the letter? Then we can make a move to vote on the letter to the promoters.
Yep, motion to adopt.
A motion to adopt the letter to the promoters. Is there a motion?
I motion it.
That's Mr. Donald Nguyen. Is there a second?
I'll second it. Chad Chilcott.
Seconds it. So we can move to vote to adopt the letter to the promoters. Steve Hanna, aye. Donald Nguyen,
Aye.
Chad Chilcutt.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
No legal report. There was no complaints for this month.
Okay, is there any new business that anyone needs to discuss at this time? All right, I'll take that as a no, and I'll move to adjourn. Is there a second?
I second. Donald Nguyen.
All right, meeting adjourned. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Thanks for your time. We'll look forward to the next meeting.
Thank you.
Forgot. I have proposed meeting dates. I apologize. Can I give you the proposed meeting dates, or should I just email them to you before you hang up? I'll just tell you what they are, and then you guys can let me know if it works with your schedule. I have August 1st, October 3rd, December 5th, and February 1st of 2017 at 2:00 each time. I'll email them to you. If you guys can confirm that you're available on those dates, that would be very helpful to me. I expect that each of these meetings will probably, now that we're kind of got the hang of it, will probably take 30 minutes.
Like that.
All right?
Sounds good.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks, gentlemen.
Sorry again, I was late. I was trying to do good by showing up physically, and it backfired on me. Next time, I think I'll just call in.
It could happen.